everybody, and welcome back to another episode of From BA to Broadway. You know who it is. It's me. It's Mr. Brennan, Stefanik. I'm bringing you those general programming reminders. Folks, every Monday we are here with the main episodes. Every Friday we are here with our miniseries In the Spotlight. And also, happy first episode of year 2. This is year 2 of From BA to Broadway. Thank you all so much for joining me for the first year, and we got some good stuff in store for the second. But that's enough about that. That is not why we're here today. Folks, I am here with the one and only David Dines. David, what is going on?
Hey, no one's called me David in years. This is amazing.
Really?
Yes.
Even in your daily life?
No, people in my daily life call me David.
I mean, I would imagine. Well, folks, you may know him also as Hanukah Lewinsky, but I am here with the legendary David Dines. Legendary in my book.
No wig today. No
wig
wig today.
You're welcome to put it on if you want.
Can you imagine? I was like, I brought all my drag with me. If only there was a camera.
Drag. Yeah.
I brought an entire outfit. I'm actually going to get into drag as we do this.
Amazing. You got a gig after this.
Yeah, that's totally what I have after this.
Absolutely. We love it. David, who the heck are you and what do you do?
My name is David. I also go by Hanukah Lewinsky. I'm a drag queen here in New York City, and that's probably the most interesting part of my life.
Hell yeah. I love that. David, second question is usually, how do we know each other? But somehow this is the first time we are ever meeting.
Yeah, but we've kind of revolves around the same people.
Truly.
I was like, my other favorite thing other than talking about myself is talking about other people, as everyone else. But we know each other because my best friend from growing up, Michelle, is one of your closest friends. Mm-hmm. And she was just in town. Also, hey, Michelle.
Hey, Michelle.
She was in town, 2-3 weeks ago?
Yeah.
And she's like, you have to do the podcast. I said, I love to talk about myself. Of course, I'll do the podcast.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And then you know people who I went to college with, and I do shows down the street from the studio.
Of course.
So it's, we kind of like, it's ships in the night.
Of course.
Planets revolving around the same sun, you know?
Big city, small world.
Exactly.
Oh, beautiful. We love it. David, did you go to school for theater?
I did go to school for theater.
Where'd you go?
I went to Wagner College on Staten Island. It's the way. So like technically I've been here for like 10 years, but it's Staten Island. No offense, but Staten Island doesn't really count. So like I've lived in New York for like 6 years.
I didn't know that Wagner was on Staten Island.
Oh yeah.
That's crazy.
We're really close by. Like if you wanted to go visit, which no shade, why would you? But if you wanted to go visit, it literally like you could be there in like an hour.
Heard. Was it a BFA program?
No, it was a BA in theater performance.
Amazing.
But it was basically a musical theater program.
That's why we're here. Hell yeah. Are you a triple threat?
Yes.
Do you do it all?
Yeah, lip syncing, wearing other people's clothes, and wearing wigs. Triple threat.
I'm pretty sure those are the 3 that everyone talks about.
That's what they taught me. They taught me wig teasing. They taught me how to make a mix on GarageBand, and they taught me how to put heel straps over my pumps.
And you know what? Listen, I'm a true GarageBand stan right here,
exactly.
right now.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
You're so right. Why make it more complicated?
Exactly.
I can do everything that I need right here with this app that came pre-installed
on my computer. Thank you, Apple.
Hell yeah. David, how did the theater bug, the performance bug, how did that get started for you? We're from good old Massachusetts. Yes.
There's a great theater scene in Massachusetts. Always has been.
Yeah. I didn't get into theater until I was in high school, so I didn't really get to take advantage of like the youth theater programs around there or anything, but
I kind of did. Mm-hmm. So my whole family loves theater. Like both my parents love theater. My grandparents all of my grandparents love theater. Like love it. They would take me to New York and they would take me to shows in Boston. So when I was always performing, like just from the minute I was born. On like Saturday nights when I was a kid, like probably when I was like 1 or 2 years old, I would like put on my mom's clothes and dance at the disco ball. And my parents would play Ricky Martin when I came out as gay. It was a complete shock. And so they always knew I wanted to perform. So like once the opportunities started to arise, they were like trying to like help me out. So I did like youth theater in Concord, and then I started taking voice lessons, and then I started doing shows at like my middle school, and then I started doing shows in my high school, and then the director at my high school was like total asshole, and like I was the only one, well not the only one, but like one of like 2-3 people in my grade who like loved performing, and he just threw me aside and was like, you're awful and I don't like you. And
stupid.
No, it was terrible. He is one of my least favorite people on this planet. I don't know where he is now.
Probably not doing too well.
No, he was a theater teacher, and now we love theater teachers. But
of course.
He was a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
I think he retired, thank God.
Good.
But then once I realized that he wasn't gonna like help me like pursue any sort of theater career, I was like, okay, I need to take myself elsewhere. And I would always do theater over the summer, like summer programs or like summer like theater institutes or whatever. And nothing like crazy, not like Interlochen. I mean,
Of
just
course.
like Western Drama Workshop.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah. Which is a phenomenal.
Oh, Western Drama Workshop is like that. That is some good
Literally.
theater. That's great. Like I had so much fun. I learned so much there. Learned so much. I was like, I could tell you. But through like all of that and like doing like summer theater programs, I found the theater in Concord that I did with our friend Michelle. And through that, I like actually learned how to like, this is how you audition for musical theater college. And this is what you have to prepare. And like, these are the schools that you should audition for. And not every school you have to audition for. And these are the programs that are like interesting and da 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 da. So that's kind of like the roundabout way that I started. And then I went to school for theater and then it, everything goes on
Did you
from there.
know that like theater was a thing that you were going to pursue professionally?
Oh, yeah.
Of course.
100%. Well, so when I was a kid, I wanted to be a director.
Okay.
Which
wow.
I don't know why. I mean, like that was like when I was like really young. And then once I like started realizing like, oh, you could be like an actor and play dress up for a living, which I do even more now. I was like, that's definitely what I need to do. I'm not good at math. My mom is a scientist, terrible at science. I'm not good at reading things thoroughly. So like liberal arts was not for me. I was like, I need something where I can just like perform to an audience. I was like, that's kind of the thing.
Did you feel as though that you needed to go to school for it? Like, did you feel as though like there was something you needed to learn, or was there like a pressure to just go to college in general? Or
no, my parents really didn't care. My parents were just in town. They left this morning. I was just,
oh my God.
Yeah, they were just here. But in retrospect, the three of us have talked about how like I'm kind of like, oh, I wish I kind of just like took all the money that we saved for college and just like moved to New York and took classes. I feel like that might have behooved me more. Not that I didn't enjoy college, I had a great time, but I feel like with the training I got and what I want to do, I feel like maybe I would have succeeded better just on my own. But also I had never left the house before college.
Gotcha. Okay.
So it wasn't a pressure to go to college. It was more just like a pressure to study theater. And I think the only way I knew how to was like, oh, you go to a musical theater program, you work at theaters over the summer, you get your equity points, you get your equity card, da 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 da. And there was like a step-by-step program.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like the mindset I went in with.
Understood. Okay, so then you went to Wagner.
Yes. I went to Wagner for 4 years, got my BA in theater performance. I think every summer except for freshman year, I tried to work in like some theatrical aspect. So like summer after sophomore year, I worked at a singing ice cream shop on the Jersey Shore.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that was horrendous. It was really, really bad.
How did you even find that?
So my friend Brianna, the name counter that is in the studio is racking up every name I say. My friend Brianna, her family used to go do summers in Lavallette, New Jersey.
Okay.
And there was an ice cream shop there where the waiters would sing and put on like a cabaret show every night.
Okay.
And she was like, oh, I'm going to audition for this summer. Why don't you all come with me? And like me and like her and 3 of our other friends all worked there. Like there were 5 of us. It was the worst experience of our life.
That sounds terrible.
Okay, so when I tell you, you know how, have you seen Jersey Shore?
Yes, of course.
So you know how there's the long boardwalk?
Of course, yeah.
There was also a second ice cream shop on the boardwalk, which is where I worked. I didn't even work at like the quote unquote good one.
Oh, no.
I worked at like the shitty one on the boardwalk. My housing was underneath the Seaside Heights boardwalk. I was 3 buildings away from the Jersey Shore house, living in a storage closet that they put a bed in.
Oh my God.
Swear to God. It was terrible. And even worse, I got halfway through the summer. Do you know Regal Music Theater in Boston? They offered me a show, which I didn't initially get. And I was like really bummed. And then I'm working at this ice cream shop and they're like, and it's days before my birthday. And they're like, if you want to come, if you're free, this rolling ensemble opened, please come do it. And I said no. And I said no.
David.
Biggest regret of my life.
Heard.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Why'd you say no?
I was naive and stupid, and I wanted to spend time with my friends and not like be at home, even though it 100% would have been a much better experience going to do the show.
But I mean, spending time with your friends is okay. That's
fine. But then I quit like a month later, so it really wasn't worth it.
Heard. Damn.
I know. It all works out.
You live and you learn.
I wear wigs for a living now, so it doesn't really matter. It's a good story.
For sure. So you did work summer theaters
elsewhere?
Yeah. Okay.
Summer after junior year, I did Lacage, also on the Jersey Shore, but like a regional house. And then after that was only like a month or like a month and a half. And then I spent the rest of the summer in Louisville, Kentucky at the Derby Dinner Playhouse doing Music Man, which was really, really fun.
Amazing. That rocks. What was your program like? Because like we had a BA program, but it wasn't musical theater
It was acting?
Yeah, it was just strictly acting.
Did you take any vocal classes or dancing?
No, I took voice lessons on the side. And I mean, there was really no dance stuff because all the dance program stuff was like...
Separate?
Oodles. Yeah, it was separate. All of the departments were separate. So I took voice lessons lessons with like a friend that was a vocal major.
No way.
Yeah. And then that even started just because like he was taking a vocal pedagogy class and they had to teach lessons as a part of it. So like I just started as like a student of a student just doing that. And then he was my voice teacher after that. And then, yeah, the dance department was completely separate. And all of the classes were like capital D dance
classes.
Like, no MT, nothing like that. So yeah, it was very much wicked separated. For what reason? I don't know. Even the buildings were like so far apart.
Yeah, I visited Amherst once and they were doing, I think the show was Street Scene.
Oh, okay.
That might have been on the main stage. And there was this giant, like the set was huge. I couldn't believe it. For your program, did everyone audition for the shows, or you had to be in like a specific department to audition for the shows?
Anyone could audition for the shows. I never auditioned for the theater department shows because it wasn't musical theater. Like that is what I love to do. It's also just like it's a very progressive area, which is awesome, but they were very much like, we're going to do new works that matter. And it was always very obscure and like, just like not what I needed in that moment. So like I met Michelle and Michael and Helen and stuff doing extracurricular.
Legally Blonde, Carrie.
Legally Blonde. I wasn't in Carrie. I did pass up on Carrie, but
no,
I did. Yeah. It's okay. I was doing other stuff. It was great.
What was the other one? Starmites? Is that another one?
Oh my God. I stayed very far away from that.
See,
production.
I know the lore.
Yeah, you do know.
It's like
the
I
lore.
went to Amherst myself.
That's wild. Wow, you are one of us. Go Minutemen.
Is that the mascot?
Of course, Sam the Minuteman.
Okay, yay Sam.
He's just a Revolutionary War militia man.
Love
that we all
fought at Lexington and conquered.
Absolutely.
Battle of Bunker Hill.
And you know what? He loved to party. Let me tell
right.
you. Yeah.
Was the mascot fun? Was he the person who did it nice?
Yes, we actually knew one of the people that was a mascot. So every once in a while, Sam the Minuteman would show up at a party.
That's really sick.
No,
Our
it was wild.
school was so fucking small that like, well, actually, no, my friend Jonah was the mascot. It was very fun for a little bit. I think ours was just like, it was a Seahawk. It was because I was like, what was it? It was like bump ba bump ba bump ba bump ba go Seahawks. I went to one game in 4 years.
Amazing. We did hockey. That was the games that we went to because we actually had a very good hockey team. I couldn't care less about hockey, but the culture was just very wild and fun. But yeah, I don't think I stepped foot in that football stadium in the 4 years that I was there.
But also, how many students was your school?
A lot.
Do you know how many?
Like tens of thousands for sure.
Do you know how many students were at Wagner?
No.
2,000.
That's crazy.
2,000 kids, and like half were commuters.
Wow. And it's not, I mean, they have other majors too, right?
It's actually, college. Wagner there are like 3 big majors are theater, nursing, and PA, like physician assistant.
The dichotomy of man.
Yeah, it's like all the queer people were in the theater program. All those Republican nurses you're worried about, they were absolutely going to school with me. Oh, yeah. And then the PAs, I would never see them, but they would always like come around with their little like white coats.
Of course.
So their senior year, couldn't tell you what they were learning. Probably not enough that they should be operating on a human being.
Heard. That's wild. But yeah, so our programs were all very separate. So like I was just kind of on my own in terms of like figuring out how to navigate everything, which is why we're here, which is why we're on this podcast, but
I loved your theater building. It was so big.
We had nice spaces for sure, but like it was just, I can't say they were being put to the most optimal use. I should say I did have a lot of great classes.
Oh yeah, I did
and
too.
A lot
I
of
was
great
like
professors, but like overall, the program as a whole, I don't think delivered what I needed out of a theater program. I attribute going to college as like becoming a person. That's what I learned.
Oh,
in college.
I like that a lot actually.
Yeah.
I definitely learned a lot about me and how I operate with like other actors and how I operate with like people in positions of power was something I really learned a lot. I think I definitely could have put myself a little bit more to use, but I also feel like not that they didn't know what to do with me because, so I think some professors did. So sophomore year, we did this devised work. This director came in from out of town, did this devised work, and they took us into the city. There was a cast of like 10 of us, and we all walked around New York with his like assistants, and they took notes on us to like see like what we really enjoyed doing.
Okay.
And they just like gave us like me and then like the other like kind of kooky people in the cast like were like put in like Times Square. And then like some people we were put in different neighborhoods that were like kind of like pre-planned to see how we operate in different places.
That's fascinating.
It was very cool. And then like a couple days later, the director's like, okay, these are the roles that I wrote for you, and then we'll write the show together.
Oh, wow.
And so they're going around and they're like, you're going to play like the like bitchy wife. You're going to play like the husband who is just like a doormat for her. You're going to play the tourist. You're going to play the tour guide. You're going to play like the busking artist. You're going to play like the corporate people. And then he like turns to me and he's like, David, you're going to be playing a woman. And I was like, oh, I was like, Jesus Christ, this is the best day of my life.
Wow.
And my friend Brianna, who I brought up, goes, oh, fuck. She did not. She was like, this is going to be the worst thing. He's going to enjoy it a little too much.
Wow.
So that was like my first thing I did at school. That was sophomore year, like department show.
Mm-hmm.
And then this leading to like what they didn't know what to do with me.
But of course.
Leading to it, we do our sophomore like reviews.
Mm-hmm.
And all the professors are going down the line. And I kind of like did a scene where I played like a gay guy, obviously. I was like, I don't think I'm passing as straight for anybody, nor did I want to.
Heard, yeah.
And they're going down the line. And then my professor, icon, legend, Tony winner, Michelle Pock, my favorite person in the world, best professor of all time. She's a fucking genius. She goes, and I'll do my impression of her. So if she ever listens, Michelle, I'm so sorry. She's like, so what do you want to do with your career? I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, well, do you want to be an actor or do you want to be a drag queen? And I was like, no, I would never do drag. I was so far removed from it. She clocked the fuck out of me. She knew. She absolutely knew. She like saw how much I liked it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think she really like, she was the one professor who would always like, whenever I would get stuff from her, she would always like kind of steer me towards like just being like flamboyant or like like the queenie or stuff. And I think she knew that was like my really like what I did really well in.
Yeah.
And she really facilitated that without like objectively saying it other than at sophomore review.
Of course.
And then I saw her in Wicked like around this time last year. And we were talking after the show. And I was like, it's like, Michelle, you know, in college, you at sophomore review, you like really knew that like this was what I should be doing. She's like, yeah, but I saw how much you loved it. Like, she was like, I figured you'd find it sooner or later. She's like, I was so like eye-opening in retrospect.
Yeah.
And in the moment I was like, ugh, I can't believe she'd say that to me.
Never. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, that's
She's the best.
Heard. It'd be like that. I mean, also like it's the time of our lives when like we are actually trying to become people and like,
oh yeah.
I don't know what your town is like, but like I came from like wicked small town Massachusetts. So
Mine
like
too.
I didn't have any sense of self. Like going to college and then B after that. I found my way a little bit, but
I had a little bit, but I was very like stereotypical gay kid. And I wasn't like cool, bitchy, like fun gay kid. I was like annoying, weird gay kid.
Understood.
So I'll like talk to people and they'll be like, oh yeah, I was like the most popular. I went to prom 6 times. I was like wearing the cutest clothes. I had the best hair. And I was like, I was the freak in the back who listened to Lady Gaga and had long hair and was friends with the teachers and would sing in class and dance down the hallways. And everyone thought I was fucking annoying as hell.
Amazing.
But they were fine. Like my town was pretty like, I mean, it's Massachusetts. Everyone's pretty liberal. They didn't really care. But it was just, small Massachusetts, like, liberal town.
Heard.
I was the gay kid in my class. But there were a couple other queer people, and we kind of, like, found each other either doing theater or just, like, at the lunch table. We weren't, like, necessarily, like, going over to each other's houses and hanging out, but we definitely, like, found each other at school. And we, like, some of us still talk and see each other.
Yeah. So when did the drag enter your life? When was Hanukah born?
Hanukah wasn't born for a while, but I did Lacage summer after junior year of college. And then it was also on my 21st birthday.
Oh my God.
And so
that's awesome.
Yeah. Oh, and it gets like even crazier. So it was like this, like, they've grown a lot now, but it was like they were just starting out when I did it. And they didn't have like housing for us.
Oh.
So we rehearsed in the city at NOLA Studios, rest in peace. And then I would go back to my dorm because it started rehearsals like while the semester was ending.
Gotcha.
And then I like finagled a way to like stay in my dorm for like an extra week. And so I rehearsed all that week while I stayed in my dorm. And then I had to leave campus and we were still rehearsing the show in the city. So I literally couch hopped with all the other like chorus boys who were drag queens on their couches for like a month.
Wow.
During the show. And we had shows on the weekends for like 3 weekends. But then during the week, they didn't give us housing at all in Jersey. So I literally lived on people's couches for like 3 weeks and on campus at Wagner for like the people who were living there. So, and there was around my 21st birthday. So I was living with these like mid to late 20s gay guys going to like clubs, like finding like gay New York while playing a drag queen at like my first regional show. And I was like, this is like the best experience of my life, like meeting other like actual drag queens who I know now and like going to gay bars and meeting boys. And like, it was just like the most incredible experience for turning 21 and like doing my first show. And
for sure.
And so all of that coupled with like playing a drag queen for the first time, I was like, oh, this is really good.
Gotcha.
And then a lot of the roles I did in college were like draggy-esque roles or like drag adjacent roles. And then I graduated and then I did another production of Lacage. And so like just drag roles kind of kept like coming back to me. And my friend Brianna is the co-star of this episode, really.
No kidding.
And I remember her calling me one day and we're just like talking about the career. And she's like, David, I think like drag is you're going to be your like into this career. She's like, she's like, we can all see how much you love it. Like, it's really, really like suiting you well. And I was like, yeah. And for a while, I would just like play with makeup or like go see drag shows and be like, oh, this is so cool. And then I started dating my current fiance.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
We got engaged in P-Town, Massachusetts, and also the gayest place in the world. And then COVID happens, and this amidst me like going to drag shows and like becoming friends with drag queens, like loving drag like from afar, and like playing with makeup, buying like wigs and shitty little outfits, and like dressing up in my room and being like, maybe. And so the pandemic happens, and my fiance was just like, you should really work on your makeup. It's not great, and you have all this time. And I was like, that's so rude. And he's like, you'll thank me later.
Of course.
So I started playing with makeup, and I started buying more wigs, and then I started buying more outfits, and then I started making videos, and then I started doing like some digital drag, and it just like kind of just kept spitballing. And then when bars started to open up, I started competing at like the bar shows. And this is in like June.
Were you in the city during the pandemic?
Yes.
Okay.
We went and stayed with my family for like 2 months, 3 months.
Okay.
And then we came back and we were here for the rest of it. We just like, we did a minute away and then we came back.
Yeah.
And once bars started opening, I did the competitions. And then like June, like vaccine June, like post-vaccine June started rolling around. So like some theaters were opening and da-da-da-da-da. And I said to Andrew, I'm like, if I'm not winning competitions and succeeding in drag by September, I'll pack it up. I'll say I had a lot of fun. Hanukah Lewinsky was a great time. And I'll just say it wasn't for me. I'm not succeeding in this.
Heard.
And it clearly worked out because I kept like doing really well in competitions. And then I won a big competition. And then I got my own show. And then it kind of all just spitballed. And I was like, well, I guess this is. For sure. And I also could tell that I liked it.
Yeah.
Not more. But I had a passion for it in a way that I didn't, in a different way than theater, I guess.
Yeah. What was like your bar for success in that time? Like what were you seeing as being a successful drag queen or having success in this as a career? Or did you consider it a career at that point?
No, I really didn't know. I was kind of just like floating through time because like everything was like half open. There were still restrictions. Obviously the future was so up in the air. The theater industry so up in the air. I always wanted to do drag, and I'm like, well, if there's a time to focus on that and not focus on fucking going to steps on Broadway and getting my and working my work study shifts, then this is the time. And I think my barometer was like, I need to start winning competitions because like that's a barometer of like, does the audience like you? Is your work resonating with them? Can you do a good number and like whatever? And so once I started seeing like people being like, oh, you're great, just like really enjoying what I was doing, I was like, then maybe I can pursue this more. And then it was, like a big hobby, like a hobby that had a paycheck with it.
Yeah.
And then I got my own show and I was like, oh, I think this is going to like be really like special.
Heard. What was your first show?
It was called Duplex at the Duplex, which is funny when you say it. And then you think about, does it make any sense? No,
it
not
rhymes.
at all.
It
just rhymes and is funny. And I did that show at the Duplex for a year. And that was like my first solo show.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
It was really great. No one came, but it was very fun.
Hey, listen, that's how we all start.
Oh, yeah.
In some way or another.
It was a lot of empty Monday nights at a cold bar.
Oh.
And the bar caught on fire twice while I was there 2 times.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. It was very scary, especially the time like we're upstairs waiting for the show to start. And then we hear like commotion from downstairs. Have you been to the Duplex?
No.
So Duplex is like historic like piano bar in the Village. 2 stories. Downstairs is like the piano bar. And then upstairs like a little stage and like lights and stuff. And we're upstairs and we're like getting ready to start and there's commotion downstairs. And then we hear like loud commotion and then people running up the stairs. And in the minute I'm like fight or flight. I'm like, oh my God, what's happening? And they're like, there's a fire. You have to get out. And I was like, this is the second fire in a month. What the fuck is happening?
Yeah. Damn.
Oh, well, they haven't had a fire since. So I guess the insurance paid off.
Yay.
Allegedly. I know, I'm just teasing.
We love feeling safe at our homes. I like literally in New York, the only way I know that anything's ever happening is the Citizens app.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, I don't think I would ever figure out if there's an emergency in my building.
I'm not allowed to have that or else my anxiety would go through the roof.
Normally that would be bad for me. But at this point, it is just very much like, I'm like, there's a gas leak and it's 200 feet away. It could be in my building. I should check.
Oh my God.
And it's not. It never is so far. But I'm I don't know how I would figure any of that stuff out.
My fiance has Citizen and he's like, yeah, you're not allowed to look at this or you wouldn't sleep at night.
That's why I can't share my location with my mom. I'm just
no.
I'm like, listen, I love that you would love that, but it would not be healthy for you.
Who do you share your location with?
My best friends. Honestly, the thing is, Find My Friends is like my favorite game on my phone.
It's Sims. It's like, where are my Sims
I'm
today?
like, let me see all my characters that I have. So like, if you want to give me your location, I'll give you my location.
No,
I mean, depending on who it is for the most part, but it's just fun. I love collecting as many as I can.
Where do you live?
Exactly.
I also like when they go on vacation, you see like the little dot move to like Europe or like Japan or something, you know?
Do I use it as a weapon? Of course.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
If my friend is not picking up my calls, I go, well, are you home? Literally. Are you at work?
I'm like, before I text you, are you home? Is this going to be a good time where I know I can call you out if you're not answering? Yeah. 100%.
But I feel like everyone does, unless I'm crazy.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think we're all definitely, I think if we're enjoying this app as much as we are, you have to be mentally ill in some way, shape, or form.
I think everyone does.
Yeah. But it's really just besties and other close friends and acquaintances and stuff.
Too.
So I like gave my mom a list of people. I was like, here are all my friends' phone numbers. If there's ever an emergency, these people have my location.
I don't think,
but that's as close as we're getting. You know.
I think my parents know to just call my fiance and that. But I'm always on my phone. Like, be it I'm on stage or at work, I was like, the phone will be within arm's reach.
Yeah. I mean, that's the life we live.
Yeah, you kind of have to.
Our brains are rotting, and that's fine.
I love brain rot.
Oh,
It gives me all my best numbers.
It makes me feel valid, you know? Yeah. I'm like, wow, I can't remember things. It's probably because of the brain rot.
We're holding space for brain rot.
We really are. We're holding...
Give me your finger, I'll hold it.
We're holding so much space for brain rot.
For the visual audience, that's absolutely here. We were holding space.
Absolutely. Oh, we love it.
That's the best. I introduced my parents to that clip literally 2 nights ago, and they were pissing themselves laughing.
I found just some post that I reposted yesterday, and it was like, is it a manic episode, or are we just back? And I'm like,
yes.
That could not be more resonating with me right now.
I was like, everything's falling apart, so might as well have a good time.
Also, I'm just like, I think we're back. We're back.
It's because Lady Gaga has a new album coming out.
That's probably it. She's really putting things back in the right.
Oh, yeah.
I think all of our problems will be solved when that drops.
Yeah, or vice versa. She tends to release albums at times of social unrest. She really has a knack for really timing those albums out. And if Gaga's like, new album cycle coming, I'm like, oh, things are about to be really bad.
Yeah, I love that for this world. Oh, well. I mean, things are already really bad.
Oh, yeah. Well, do you remember like in like 2020, it was like, stupid love announced coronavirus has reached America.
Oh, my God.
It's always something like that with her.
Damn. Oh, well. Well, she's got a knack for that.
Yeah, she knows.
She's psychic. She's a little psychic.
She's like, these people are going to go to $3 bill G'd out, and they're going to have a great time.
Oh, my
falling apart.
God. And you know what? They will.
Oh, yeah.
I absolutely
Also,
will.
if you want to come see me when does this come out?
Monday.
Never mind. It already happened. I hope you're all enjoying Mayhem. My favorite song is track number redacted. I went to the listening party. I can't say.
Okay.
I was not actually there.
Oh, well,
I'm excited.
I'll cut that part out. We'll say you were there.
No, I can't pretend I was there because then I'd look like a loser. Who lied about going. No, I very jealously watched everyone there from Raising Cane's while I ate my chicken tenders.
And you know what? That sounds like a win to me.
You know, it would have been nice to meet Lady Gaga, but I'll take Raising Cane's as a second option.
I am so grateful that we have those around.
I know. Isn't that great?
Yeah. The problem was I work right across from the one in Times Square. So there was
Where do you work?
I have so many jobs.
Okay, let's hear
so many jobs. This one, I work merchandise for Disney Theatrical Group.
Love.
So I was working at the Lion King right when it opened, and so I was just eating Cane's
every day,
like at least 3 times a week.
You're doing any Circle of Life, and you're chowing down on coleslaw.
Oh no, coleslaw.
You don't like the coleslaw there?
No.
Oh, I get 3.
No. I say
you don't want your veggies.
Absolutely not. I don't want my gross mayo veggies.
Oh, but shove it down my throat. I want it.
I say no coleslaw, double toast, please.
Oh, yeah. I've never done.
Oh,
but I like the coleslaw too much. I'm happy with my one toast, my friend, the coleslaw, and I said, give me the extra cane sauce.
You are either a coleslaw person or you're not. There's no in between. There's no.
Well, there's also different types of coleslaw if you didn't know.
Well,
there's mayo-based.
I obviously didn't.
There's mayo-based coleslaw and vinegar-based coleslaw.
Wow. You learn something new every day.
And both are delightfully delicious.
I was going to say, and they still both sound terrible to me, but
you hate cabbage.
I don't eat vegetables, really.
Period.
If I'm being honest.
You're like, Sweet Green, never heard of her.
I'll eat a salad. I will eat lettuce for sure, you know. I will eat
kale?
Spinach. No, kale, I don't know.
You don't like a kale Caesar?
No.
Oh my God, my favorite.
I'll throw some kale in a smoothie, but that's
Maybe
the closest.
I'll Sweet Green after this. Who knows?
Treat yourself.
The world is my oyster.
That's so true. And you are its pearl.
Yeah.
Wow. Anywho, drag.
Yeah, that eating sweet green in drag really go hand in hand.
Literally, sweet green. This is not sponsored, but we will totally.
Oh,
do
I
that.
certainly
we
will.
will totally do that if you want to hit us up.
Chelsea Pierce would kill me if she didn't get the sponsorship, but it's fine.
The DMs are open. So you started having your own shows. You started getting your way in there. Yeah. At what point did you like really feel that you were a part of the community?
I think for a while when it was just my solo show, I was like, oh, I'm like just starting. I mean, I technically like when you look at how long some people have been doing drag, like I've only been doing drag like 3.5 years.
Wow.
But people have been doing it for like over a decade. Mm-hmm. I started really feeling like I was a part of it, I would say, when I got like my other shows. So for a while, it was just my solo show, and I would like fill out my schedule with like guest bookings and like one-off gigs at like $3 Bill or at Pieces or Hardware or Hush or, you know, any name a gay bar. I've probably performed at it. And then over the summer, that same summer, this is summer 2022, I got a weekly show at Playhouse and a show at Verse. And that was when I was like, oh, I'm part of it. Now that I have like 3 shows, I'm like definitely part of this community. It's I have like a foothold in it. And then I got a brunch that happened like twice a month, and that's when I quit my day job to do drag full time. And then the duplex show fizzled, and then the brunch fizzled, and then the show at Playhouse also fizzled. And then I said, well, guess I gotta get a day job again.
Amazing. What was your day job, and then what did you pivot to?
My day job, I used to work at a restaurant in Times Square, and now I work at a bakery here in Hell's Kitchen.
Amazing.
Well, it's only a couple times a week. It's not that often, but it's enough to like supplement the income that I lost doing. Oh my God, I just thought this chair was going to tip over. It supplements the income that I lost doing drag. But I also do I still do like one-offs all the time. Like I'm at $3 Bill this Friday. I do shows like Come On Everybody. I got like everywhere. Yeah. Like if someone says, do you want to do a show? I will almost always say yes.
Amazing. Listen, we all got our survival jobs. That's just the way it is, you know?
And it's just like, I love doing drag. So anytime I get to perform is like, I'll just do it.
And like you have a name in this city for sure. Listen, if I know who you are, you have a name.
Okay, I'll take it. I was like, you do live 2 blocks away from where I've had a show for 2 years, so that could also be it. But
well, don't tell everyone where I live.
Well, I you don't know where it is. I was like,
so true.
Two blocks could be in any direction.
You're so right. You're so right. Again, I mean, the thing is, like, I don't even remember when the first time I saw you was. It definitely wasn't with Ryan, who I have definitely seen you with. So because of that fact, I'm like, yeah, you are clearly someone, because one of my other
gay friends,
one of the other gays in my pocket, said we're going to go see Hanukah.
Yeah, but I also went to school with Ryan. I mean, like, Ryan has seen Hanukah before she even had a name. She saw David Ryan saw me dancing around.
Ryan,
like,
Queen,
we love you, Ryan. Ryan saw me like dancing around in a skirt at 3 a.m. when I'm like, everyone want to take my picture, and everyone's like, no, we want to fucking go to bed, go to sleep.
Amazing. So what is like, I guess theater right now is like just, it's so much. It's
kind of
audition season is killing right now. It's just like, I don't know, it feels absolutely crazy, but like
it feels like the Hairspray open call circa 2020.
Just everywhere.
That, honestly, maybe I'll write a show about that, because that was a phenomenal day in history.
I recently learned, who was it? I think I had Ali Bonino from Softs on the Pod, and she was telling me, I don't know if it was for the Hairspray call or what, but there was some huge call happening where a bunch of people hid in Ripley.
Yes. Wait, I think that was Hairspray.
Yeah.
I think it was Hairspray.
And we were like, first of all, I had never heard of that, but I'm like, that would be such a fascinating like mockumentary or something.
You're hiding in the bathroom at Pearl.
Of just all those little unbearable theater people going,
look what I did, as they
sleep out.
Or squatters.
Literally. I was like, that's insane, first of all.
I would love that.
But that would be a great piece of
media. They finished, what's the dance company at Pearl that's there every day, like Pierre Canella or something?
Oh, yeah.
They wait for the dance class, and they're like, have a good day, great class. So my pillow goes here, my blanket goes here.
They're like hiding. They're wearing a radiator costume.
No, literally. Oh. The person closes down Pearl like, that curtain looks a little lumpier than usual.
I don't get paid enough for this.
No, literally.
Literally.
Like, it'll be fine.
Yeah, I'm sure it's fine. But yeah, amongst all of the chaos and all of the running around and stuff, it really is just one of those things where like, it's so cliche, but like it is all about community and whatnot and like getting through it. What is the drag community like? Like, because like as much as we love the theater community, it is also half very toxic and whatnot. And like, it's just such a mixed bag, but it is also what gets you through. Like, is it the same for drag?
Yeah, I would say so. Like, drag is, I would say, like an eclectic quilt of, I'm trying to sound really smart right now.
I love it.
It's just, I don't know. It's what's great and also what's like not great about drag is that everyone can do it.
Heard.
I know people who've been on Broadway who do drag now. I know people who've never done any theatrical anything and just put on a wig one day who have no rhythm, no skill, and just want to be a drag queen. You have girls who are like you have drag performers who do fashion. You have drag performers who do comedy. You have like it really like runs the gambit. And again, so it's great. And what's terrible about it is that anyone can do it. So you meet everyone under the sun. You meet the most normal people to like truly some of the craziest people I've ever met. And like there's crazy in a fun way that I love, and there's crazy in a way that I'm like, this person is actually unstable and needs help.
Of course.
But I feel like it's like any other community. You get like the great people, you get the middle people, you get it's all over the place. But I think I try to be a positive person.
Yeah, of course.
In general. It doesn't mean I'm not shady. Doesn't mean I'm not funny. Doesn't mean I'm not, like the thing is every drag queen talks about every drag queen behind their back.
Of course.
And when people are like, oh, you talk shit about me, I'm like, and so did you.
Yeah.
Like everyone does it. It's not, and it's always the worst people ever being like, everyone talks shit and people don't. But drag queens do. I've been privy to so many conversations that unbelievable.
Of course.
But at the end of the day, it is very competitive.
Yeah.
And there's definitely like a dichotomy of like, people who work at different bars or live in different boroughs, like butting heads. But there's a lot of, I find the people who work in different spaces, be it different bars, different boroughs, different like facets of drag, who work in multiple spaces, tend to be the ones who are like more well-rounded and the ones who like get it. And the people who are kind of like insular in where they work or insular in what community they stay in, or like they only go out in like Bushwick, or they only go out in Hell's Kitchen, or they only go out in the West Village, or they only go out in like Queens. Like the people who tend to be more insular are like the ones who tend to like be on
the outskirts of it all.
Not outskirts, just not as like involved.
Heard.
And then the people who tend to like either work or party or, any amalgamation of those in different boroughs, different bars, whatever, tend to be the ones who are like smarter, kinder, funnier, better performers. Like not because they're working more, but just because they're involving themselves with other people. And I don't know. My thing has always been the more people you meet and the better perspective you get, the more well-rounded you'll be as a person, For
sure. I mean, it's also just easier to work with you when you are more well-rounded, which is why, I mean, I always encourage everyone to do everything and learn as much as they can, because like the more you know about every facet of the industry is like, people will want to work with you because you are easy to work with, and
and also just like being like authentically yourself, like especially in theater and also in drag, like it is very easy to tell someone who's like doing it because they love it, doing it because they want to be on Drag Race, or doing it because they want a social climb.
Yeah.
And it's or any group of those three,
For sure.
But it's the more I do it, the more I can tell who's like offering me what can I use as a euphemism for drugs? Drugs, like the person, I can't remember who said this, but it's like, you can tell the girl, like you can tell like the people who are like offering you something in a club setting because they want something from you, or offering it because they're your friend. And they're like, hey, do you want this tonight? Like a drink ticket, or like, a medical substance, or or like, a book, being like, oh, if you book me for this, I'll book you for that. And it's like, are you saying that because like I'm your friend, or because you want to like score points with another drag performer, and da 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 da. The more I see people, the more it's like easier to help.
Heard. I mean, especially with like the drag racification of it all. Does it feel like the market for drag is like oversaturated at this point? Like, do you feel as though New York has a way of like weeding out?
Oh, that's a really good question.
Yeah. I mean, I just feel like anytime someone watches it, they're like, wow, I could do that. And I'm like, I don't think you could.
No, you couldn't. As Naomi Smalls once said, you could never.
Yeah.
I really have always hated the word oversaturation, because I'm like, there are 8 billion people on this planet. There is so much space in this world that is just like sitting there. Like even in New York, like think of how many empty buildings we have,
Yeah.
I find oversaturation to be a word. I just don't like it, because I feel like in a perfect world, there'd be room for everyone.
Yeah.
But then there's also part of me being like, yeah, I want more shows. Let me have more shows.
Sure.
Why is everyone getting a show who hasn't put in X amount of time? There's definitely, like, for better or worse, I would say yes, there is an oversaturation of drag just in general. But also, isn't that what we've wanted for decades?
That's fair.
Like, I think they kind of go hand in hand. I refrain from oversaturation, one, because I just don't like it. And two, I'm like, queer people wanted visibility for so long. Now that we have it, why are we complaining that we have it?
Yeah.
It is cool that like drag used to be like this underground thing that like, it was for like and it still is like for a specific whoever audience.
For sure.
But it's really nice to have people who want to come see it and give us a lot of money and aren't just like,
Yeah.
No,
for sure. It's also your career. Like, you are allowed to, just like any other job,
Yeah.
like in other jobs, you will get merit-based promotions. You will advance in some way, shape, or form. And it's hard when there are just so many people.
Yes. And there's definitely way more performers than there are venues that give you the opportunity.
Yeah.
And also the audiences are different. Like pre-pandemic, I would say like let's say the Hell's Kitchen recipe of like 2 drag queens, 3 numbers each, back-to-back banter and roulette at the end, you would have a full audience on a Monday night. Like any night of the week, you could go to any bar up and down 9th and 10th, and it would be full. Every single show. But that recipe doesn't hit the same way anymore.
Okay.
I just as not as an audience member, because I love it for me, but I think just like from observing from the outside, like that recipe doesn't work in the same way unless there's something like really like something that really clicks.
Understood.
Which is why like a lot of shows have turnover, but then the ones that don't have been running for like 3 years. Like since the pandemic. Like,
do you think it's like a health and safety thing, or do you think
it's
more just like
I think it's that like it could be. I think pre-pandemic, like any pairing of 2 drag queens would have worked.
Understood.
And I think now people are really looking for like a special connection between the co-hosts.
Okay.
To make it different, because you can go to any bar and see 2 drag queens do 3 numbers in roulette. There needs to be something like added to it that isn't that specifically. Heard. Is what, again, not my opinion, just like what I've observed from audiences or like what I've heard.
Of course. That's wild. I don't think I would have ever imagined that to be the reason, but I don't know. I guess it makes sense in a way.
That like the audience needs like a special sauce with a show rather than just like, this is a dry towel and lease a new car and give it to me Wednesdays,
Of course. Yeah. I mean, also just like attention span wise too. I feel like once again with all of our brain rot, like we really need to be I mean, this is me speaking on the mentally ill ADHD community. I don't really know if that's general across the board, but I guess that makes sense in that sort of my brain. But like it is, once again, I'm just like, talent is talent. Like I feel like if you put someone talented in front of me, I'm going to be like, holy shit, yeah, great. I just saw for the first time ever, a couple of friends and I went to Balcone on a Monday a couple of weeks ago and saw Apocalypse Noir.
Oh my God, that's the best fucking show, right?
Like
that's insane.
Incredible.
Also, Andrew has to be the most talented person I've ever met.
So
in my
good.
life.
So good. I was literally
the dancing, the singing. Also so hot, just like the best.
Yeah, they were like, we're going to go see the show. We saw them last week. They were great. And I was like, okay, great. And I was just...
Were you jaw-dropping, right?
Genuinely. I was like, holy fuck. Did
they do Phantom of the Opera when you were there?
Yes, they sure did.
So gaggy, right?
Like crazy. I was like, what a strange mix of music, but what brilliant remixes and just like
genius
vocal talent. I was like...
But that's what I'm saying. Like, you would go like... And this is not just... Like, just in general. Like, a Monday night is not a great night for shows.
Yeah.
Balcone is full every single Monday with
Absolutely.
that show. It does not matter the weather. It does not matter how when the sun sets, that show will be full. It's people in the audience are looking for like a special sauce on stage. I hate that I keep using that.
No,
but like,
I mean, it's true.
It's they want something that, and it literally could be like 2 queens, 3 numbers, and roulette at the end, but you need something special between like the 2 people. Or like a show like that with the singing and the production and it's very cool.
Yeah, listen.
Apocalypse Noir is like one of my favorites.
Shout out to them. Listen, let me tell you.
No, the most talented.
I will go back literally any Monday. I don't even care if it's the same.
Did you sit in the balcony or did you sit on the?
We were right on the floor. We were right in front.
The balcony is really fun.
Heard.
If you can get up and like watch from the top and like watch, it's really cool.
Heard. I've never been up there before, but
it's fun.
We'll see if we can get up there next time.
It's very, I don't know if you know the rap, but like Piranha in Vegas has that like upstairs catwalk and people like throw the money down from the top.
Yes, there was a lot of raining money for sure.
It's so cool.
But yeah, that's something where I'm like, yeah, this is just an immense amount of talent. It's so unique and fun, and I don't care if it's the same set list. I will go every Monday just for something to do, but also just watch people enjoy what they're doing.
And it's a great bar too. Like that stage is really fun. They also do. Have you seen any of Nick Gaga's like Gaga tribute shows there?
No,
those are crazy.
Interesting.
Like she literally will do like full Born This Way ball, start to finish with dancers, like Gaga's interludes, everything, costumes. Like Nick Gaga's putting on like a full Gaga show. It's unbelievable.
Sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's amazing.
I mean, I guess I also like. I guess I can say that I live in the greater neighborhood of Hell's Kitchen. Like that, I feel
Is that unknown until this episode?
I feel like it's probably been mentioned here and there, but
Okay.
like not enough for anyone to probably clock and be like, ah ha ha. But
listen, Hell's Kitchen is big. You don't know if we're on 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th,
there's
12th.
2 zip codes in Hell's Kitchen.
Yeah, you have no idea where we are.
Yes.
We could be, I don't know.
You bet your ass I'm not below 42nd Street, though, because that is not
Right.
Hell's Kitchen. And
No.
and if anybody says that,
We're above Red Eye right now.
They're
You have
lying
no
to
idea.
themselves. Literally, who's to say? But yeah, I mean, this is just like a great area for all of that and whatnot.
Oh, yeah.
And like, especially during June, this place is like
Insane.
Yeah, I mean, that I will definitely say oversaturated because
Oh yeah, there's too much going on, and what's
barely
crazy
leave
is
my
it's
house.
always full.
Yeah, but nonetheless, there's a lot of great stuff around here. So I guess I am also just like privileged in the amount that I can
Like
potentially
Manhattan
consume.
drag, yeah.
Yeah. But
do you see any drag shows in Brooklyn?
I try to avoid going to Brooklyn at all
Okay.
costs. Yeah,
I was like, you're missing out on some like unbelievable drag.
and I know that for sure. I definitely know that. I have made my whatchamacallits with that, and
You're like, I don't know the L train. I've never stepped on the L train. I will
I'm
never
like,
take the L
listen,
train.
I chose to live in Manhattan for a reason. And
Okay.
that reason is convenience. I love going outside my door and having everything that I need right
In
here.
a 10-block radius.
I'm like, I moved away from Massachusetts so I wouldn't have to drive an hour to see a
Yeah.
friend. You know, I
That's
don't want to
fair.
sit on a train for an hour.
I like
But
to say
I do it in special circumstances
Yeah.
for sure.
that's fair.
Yeah.
My friend, my co-host Reese Havoc, coined the term bi-coastal, as in we work and party in Manhattan. and Brooklyn.
Heard. I love that actually.
Bi-coastal is really great. Love
Yeah.
you, Reese.
And there are parts of Brooklyn that you can reach faster, which I will
Oh,
happily
yeah.
do and whatnot. But one of my besties just moved to Williamsburg, and I'm like,
L train or
I don't know, and that's the thing. But I'm like, I will have to start making that trek. Do you have like a dream in terms of like career? Like, what do you
my
want
God.
most? Is there something that you know that once you do, you will feel like you've done it all and feel so content, or is it kind of just a never going journey for you?
I feel like for me, never going. I always kind of am like trying to find what like the next biggest thing is.
Understood.
I really like, obviously, I don't like to write, but Reese and I really want to write a project together.
Okay.
That we've been like thinking of for a while. We want to do like a murder mystery set on like a cruise ship
Wow.
and have it just be like, we don't know what it'll be. It might just be the two of us. It might be us and like castmates. We might have musical
Hell yeah.
numbers, but we really want to write. And so it's like the dream is like murder mystery set on a cruise ship. We're there. Obviously, we're in drag, but like we're not there as drag queens. We're just like Reese and Hanukah on like
Love
the cruise ship. And then we're implicated in the murder and we have to like clear our names, but we want to call it Oceans 2. It's our dream. But very in the vein of like,
I love it.
when I said, did you see Dix the musical?
I didn't.
It's so good.
I've heard great things.
It's so good.
Yeah.
But at the end, there were videos of Josh and Aaron doing the show. What was it called? Fucking Identical Twins.
Yes.
Doing the show, like the stage show, and then it became a movie. And so when I saw it, I was like, oh my God, I want that I want Reese and I to do this. And then like years down the line, we turn it into like a full movie.
Heard.
But like, I don't know. Not all I want to do like scripted television as Hanukah. I would love to do like, and I don't even care if I'm like drag queen in the back who goes bam. You know what I mean? Like
For
I just
sure.
would love to do like a scripted. Honestly, I just want to do like scripted stuff again. I
Yeah.
love making my own numbers, and I love hosting my own show. But I love when I like get told something to do every once in a while.
Would you ever want to do like traditional musical theater?
Oh,
in
yeah.
drag again?
I
Okay.
would love to.
Heard.
I don't sing at my shows, but that's like my own like. And again, I've had to fucking bark up this tree about 1,000 times because everyone in my drag family sings live, all of them.
Heard.
Here's my thing. And again, I'm happy you do it. Power to you. You're all wonderful at it. I love it. I love that you do it. Not for me.
Heard.
Personally, not for me. Like if I go see like a cabaret show, like a
Mhm.
drag cabaret, totally into it. Even at like a big space, like a $3 bill or just like a big venue,
Mhm.
live singing in drag, sure. I don't need to hear someone sing My Days in drag at a bar
Interesting.
that I do a bump in the bathroom at. You know what I mean?
Heard.
That's like, for a euphemism, that is illegal. I do not condone drugs.
Yes, of course.
And we will be testing them after the show. Just
Yes.
letting you know.
Of course,
For your safety.
100%. And that's on that.
So like, I don't sing live in drag
Mhm.
because I don't necessarily love seeing it at a drag show.
Okay.
However, if I was doing a musical, yes, of course I would sing. I was like,
Yeah,
so I didn't train for nothing, you know?
that's valid. Yeah, you got to weaponize
Weaponize the
that
BA.
Yep. As we do.
Yeah. I love my BA. And then like, obviously, And this will be for my audition next year. I would obviously love to be on RuPaul's Drag Race. That would be so amazing.
Of course.
I actually would. It's been my favorite show since I was in high school, obviously. But like every drag queen wants to be on Drag Race.
Of course. Are you watching this current season?
I am.
Who are we rooting for?
Lana Geray.
Okay.
My girl. Love Lana.
Amazing.
And I love Jules. Jules is fucking great.
Jules really came out of the gate and surprised
Lexi.
me.
I was like, Lexi is incredible. And Anya, I was like, honestly, the cast is, and Susie, I was like, I actually really like the cast this year, I think. And Sam, it's a
good season.
A+ cast.
It's definitely one where like people are surprising me and I'm like, wow, this could go in many ways. And I'm actually not that sure. My only thing is I'm like, I feel like Lexi Love needs to get to the end. And I think she absolutely will.
She's so good.
Nonetheless, in terms of like, once again, theater typecasting and all that, do you have a brand as like, what is the brand of Hanukah? Like, is there something that you feel as though you do best than anyone else? And do you feel as though that's what gets you into certain places?
Oh, I feel like my like drag, like the thing that people enjoy is like the timely topical like references. They love my mixes because they tend to be really fun and like, you know, even if you don't get the reference, they're funny, but they're usually something that people get. And it's also like that. And like, I would say I'm a pretty good dancer.
Okay.
And I would say like a lot of like, I would say like I have a great quality of movement when I perform. And I can do more than just like comedy mixes. Like I can do like a Saturday party night, whatever. Yeah. And I think that my adaptability is really what sells.
Your versatility.
Me. Yes. Versatility, verse bar every other Tuesday with me and Wreath Havoc. Yeah, I think just my adaptability and like my like yes and Ariana Grande attitude and my, you know, zest for life really is what sells me.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that for you. Do you have any advice to people who would like to pursue drag or professionally or just like give it a shot? And also, is there like, once again, like when you're saying that you want to be an actor, everyone's like, oh, it's extremely hard. Like you need to have the tenacity to do this.
People don't say that with drag because again, everyone can do drag. Like everyone's like, I want to do drag. They're like, okay.
But do you think that's true? Or do you think there is some form of...
I think everyone can do drag. I don't think everyone should do drag.
Understood.
That's just my opinion. I was like, I don't know. I'm trying to find the best way to put this. I think everyone should try it because I think it's a great way to like really release any preconceived notions you have about yourself. And I love myself more because I've started drag.
Yeah.
And not because of like, you know, it's just, I just have found a much more better sense of self.
For sure.
Because of it. But I mean, it's hard in the sense that like drag is not a career for everybody. It isn't. It just isn't. And I think that a lot of people think that it is a career for everybody, but it's not.
Yeah.
And I think that coupled with quote unquote oversaturation and the city we live in, like, it's not a career for everybody. For some people, it should just be a hobby.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
Totally.
But my advice, I say everyone should try it.
Yeah.
And if it's something you feel like you want to do it.
Absolutely.
You know, I think nothing stops people more than themselves. And I think that I was putting a barrier in front of myself starting drag for a long time, but I'm so in love with it. And I have been for literally my whole life. And it was my own mental block that was like, don't do it. It's going to be this, that, and the other thing. But my life is so much better because I do it. And it's like, I'm so happy I do it. I love drag so much.
You clearly were meant to do it. It clearly
that's kind of how it feels. That's the other thing that I've like realized since I started. I was like, oh, this is like this style of performance I've been meant to do.
For sure. I feel like, I mean, just like in terms of like pursuing acting as a career, like you don't really know that it's what you're meant to do until you are in the worst of it. Like when you are not booked and when you are just feeling like you're watching everyone else succeed around you and you're like still like, actually, there's still nothing else that I would rather do.
Yes.
You know?
And I've seen so many people being like, get to that point and they're like, yeah, not for me anymore. I guess that part of my life is done.
Yeah.
It's really wild to watch.
It is wild. It's weird that you have to, I'm not going to call that rock bottom because like,
no,
it's definitely
not,
not in the grand scheme of things, but like, when you reach that point where you're like, wow, I haven't worked in over a year or however many years, and you're still like, what the hell else am I going to do? You know, like there is nothing that I would ever want to devote my life to in this regard. And then waste all the time I spent doing this, but also there's nothing I've ever felt nearly as passionate about.
Exactly.
Know? It's one of those things where you got to have the backbone, but also it just is what you were meant to do.
Yeah. That's hitting that point I find is like a very good gateway for people for them to realize like, is this something that I wanted to do for so long and I could do something else, or this is the only thing I can do?
Yeah.
Like I felt that way my whole life. I'm like, whenever I've hit that point, I'm like, actor, performer, drag queen, whatever, just like performer, all encompassing, whatever. as I'm always like, I literally can't do anything else.
Yeah.
Or like when I was like, I was looking for a day job once like my shows went away, and I was like, my first thought was, I can't wait until I can quit this job. No shade to my day job, but I was like, I can't wait until I can be doing drag full time again. And then also, I was like, what can I do? Like, what would make me money? That I was like, I don't know if I want to work in food service again. I was like, it's good money, but it's not what I want to do.
It kills you. It really does in this city.
And then I was like, oh, maybe I'll do like social media, because I'm like, I love doing stuff with social media. And I like made a LinkedIn, and I was like looking at it, and I was like, these are all like jobs. And I was I'm exaggerating, but I was like getting like physically sick, being like, I was like, I can't go to a fucking office. I can't log on to Slack every day. I was like, that is not a life I ever want for myself ever. I was like, I am a performer first. I need a job that knows that I'm a performer first, and I am there second.
Yeah.
And that's it. I was like, they need to know that I'm there to make my money and go do my actual job.
Yes.
And that's what happened. And that was, I think, the most recent realization of like, oh yeah, I'm a performer in any aspect of whatever. I can't, like, nothing else is what I want in this life.
Totally. I mean, that is the truth. It is weird to say, and it does feel cynical, but like, you can't care too much.
No.
About the side gigs and the survival jobs. You can't.
My job, like, they're being very, this month, and I'm not going to share like everything, but they're being very accommodating of me. And they are. Like, every month before the schedule goes out, I'll be like, these are the 20 days I'm not available because I have my drag gigs. And they're like, fine, we'll work around you.
Yeah.
And they're very flexible with it, which is so nice. And most jobs wouldn't do that. But they, like, when I was hired, I was like, I want you to know I'm a drag performer first. I'm going to prioritize this above all else. I'm very sorry. And if you don't want that at this job, then that's okay. And I will find somewhere that does. And they were like, that's fine.
Heard.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of like the assumption, at least around here in Midtown and all that stuff, is that this is not a passion. But like,
well, what's crazy is I'm one of only 2 like performers that I work with.
Oh, wow. Okay.
We don't have a big staff, but it's me and this one other girl, and she's an actor. And so, like, we'll always be like, hey, she'll be like, hey, I have an audition. Can you cover me? Yeah. And I was like, hey, I'm on Watch What Happens Live this week. Can you cover me? It's like, it's very that. Or like the other day, I got asked to cover for a show. And I was like, hey, I got asked to cover for a show tonight. Can I do most of my shift? And can I leave an hour early? And you close for me so I can get into drag? And they're like, yeah, of course.
Yeah, that rocks. I mean, that is kind of just what you got to do. But also, like, folks out there, when you are still going and showing up at these jobs, please be a good worker.
Oh yeah, do your job.
Please.
That's the other thing. I was like, I was definitely a personality hire, but I'm also like, I'm there to make money. So I was like, I'm gonna at least, commit to the bit for the 6 to 8 hours that I'm there. It's not like I'm standing there diddling myself.
Exactly. And I feel like not everyone knows that either.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Is they just show up and they're like, whatever, I'm doing this to make money. But like, y'all, do your job. Like, people need you to do that job. Kim
Kardashian said it best. Get your ass up and work. It seems like no one wants to work these days.
No one wants to work these days. And you know what? She's talking about me. And she's correct. But I'm still going to do my job.
Yeah,
and I'm going
to
do it well. So, yeah.
And as Debbie Ryan once said, in my opinion, being still scares me. It's terrifying.
That's so true. It really is.
I had a day off the other day where I did absolutely nothing. Like, no drag, no day job. I didn't make a mix. I didn't clean my wigs. I didn't clean my outfits. I didn't clean my makeup. I've never cleaned my makeup brushes. I didn't tidy up. I did nothing. I did absolutely zero. And by the end of the day, I was yanking my hair out, being like, I can never do this again.
It's weird because sometimes I'm like, yes, you need just a day to veg, but I always feel the worst about myself during
the
those
days that I veg. I don't do it often, and when I do, I'm like, this is the worst day of my life.
Yeah. But you know what? I'm always way more productive the following day. So
oh my God, the next day you couldn't tell me I'm not Steve Jobs.
Like up at 8 a.m. I'm like going for a run.
I haven't
let's not get gone crazy. For a run in 3 months.
I've not seen the front side of 8 a.m. in a long time.
And you know what? I love that for you. I do have one of my survival jobs where every once in a while they'll give me a 6 a.m. shift. And those are
6 a.m. Tell me what it is later. I don't want you to.
I've said it on the pod. I said it on one of the most recent episodes that I work for Actors Equity as an audition monitor, but
I love the audition monitor.
Sometimes it's interesting. It's very interesting.
My favorite thing is to tell people no, and that was the best part of it.
And you know what? That's one of my least favorite things, but everyone thinks it's my favorite thing.
I love telling people no.
Sometimes I have to be the one to open the equity building. I have to show up and be the 4th floor non-union holding room audition.
Kate Schindel walks by. She's like, hey.
Just the front desk person. That's all I am there. And
is Kate Schindel still the president?
No.
Oh, never mind. That reference is long gone.
I don't remember who took her place, but there was just a recent election. I'm not actually a member of Equity. I just make my money.
You work
there.
for Equity.
Yeah, but anyways, yes, I had to wake up.
Ask if your audition monitor is Equity. The answer is no.
Some of them are. Some of them are not. I think actually most of them are, but I am not. I'm EMC right now, so I'm riding that train out until it dies in May. So
wait, it's ending?
Yeah. Hey there, folks. This is Future Brennan. I am so sorry, but it turns out I have been spreading misinformation for months upon a time now. The EMC program does come to an end soon, but it is May of 2026, not 2025. So that will be May 8th, 2026, that the EMC program will no longer be in effect. So, sorry about that, and back to the show.
No way.
After, when COVID happened, they like reworked the rules.
Yes, that I remember.
And as a part of that, since they were like, anyone can join as long as you've worked something and gotten paid or whatever, they were like, and because of that, the EMC program is no more. So anyone that had been, actually, they made this announcement in 2022 after it had already kind of became something. They were like, the EMC program is ending since now we're not doing a point system. So anyone that is an EMC member can retain that and reap its benefits until May of 2025. Once again, Future Brennan here to say I'm so sorry and that it is indeed May of 2026. And nobody else can join from this point on.
So you either join equity or you work on union?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So I got a big decision on the horizon.
Wait, that's so crazy. I had no idea that was happening.
Yeah.
That's a lot of my friends. I guess they weren't talking about it.
It's one of those things that's haunting, but also like at the state it's in right now, I'm like,
it is what it is.
I'm just going to take the card because it's so hard to get seen otherwise.
Oh yeah, I've heard it's like impossible, and like everything is self-tapes.
Yeah, and
which is, in my opinion, also awful. I feel like you get a much better version of a person in the room.
That's true. I do love a self-tape because I do feel as though I can nitpick and like give them the best of what I see, but also I know that's not the most representative of, you know, that kind of stuff. So there's pros and cons, but it is what it is, and that's kind of how we are.
That's so crazy.
It's wild. But yeah,
I'm gonna miss EMC. I was like, that was like something that I love. I don't know, for some reason I really liked it. I guess it's kind of like gatekeepy to be like, you can only join the equity if you've earned these like da-da-da-da-da. But I guess like naive college me was like, it's a great like very structured way of like, this is how my career is going to go. I'm going to work here. I'm going to get these points. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And then I'll be this.
It's also, I do enjoy it, and I do enjoy the concept of it because of like the like working your way up kind of thing. Like knowing, I guess I just have to prove to myself that I am talented enough to do this, and also prove it to everyone else, obviously. And that's a me problem. But like, there are a lot of people now that like just do one thing and then they join the union and then they can't get work. You know, and now it's so hard to get, even when you are in the union, it's so hard to get an appointment because there's so many people logging
online.
On. Yeah, they have a portal.
God, so
and everyone's trying to log on.
It's like getting Cowboy Carter tickets.
Literally, it's literally like a Ticketmaster situation.
Oh God,
anywhere.
I would end it all.
I still am not dealing with that yet, but like it is kind of what we're rocking with right now, and it's definitely. It's definitely something that needs fixing, but it's going to take time.
No, it's. Do you have an agent or a manager?
I do have an agent, so that definitely helps me in some regards. But even then, like there are also so many people in my agency. There are also so many people with agents now too, where it's just like it is once again just another pool.
What I've gleaned from all my friends who are like, you know, like in it is like to really like get seen and like audition for stuff. You have to be in equity and have a manager or agent.
It really,
like you need both, and then it
really is who you know, and they always say that. But it is truly starting to really hit me right in the face that like it is who you know. It's important that people know your name and know your face and whatnot, and that everyone likes you and you get along with everyone. Yeah. It's once again a business within the business within the business is the networking and the getting to know everyone. I
feel like for a long time, like. Well, I guess no, because I feel like the entertainment industry always has been who you know, but I feel like people didn't realize that for a while because it's so like, oh, you audition and you're the fresh face and there's always a chance that you can get this, that, and the other thing. But I think like every other industry, connections are what begets work.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And I mean, every once in a while there is a standout that comes out of nowhere for sure.
Yeah.
But, like that is truly 1 in a million at this point, to the point where it is like, you gotta work
the search for Dolly.
Literally the search for anyone. You know, it's just you gotta work hard. You gotta play hard, and once again, part of that work is putting on that smile and being so nice to everyone, which is wild.
I feel like, at least from what I'm observing, I feel like the open call culture is like really great for like getting work over the summer at like
Yes.
not the big like Agunquits and
For sure.
and North Shore, not North Shore, Theater by the Sea and like stuff like that.
Mhm.
But it's more for like the next level down. It's like that's really good for open calls and stuff. But then
Yeah.
for like tours, Broadway, big regional houses, off Broadway with like new works and stuff, you really need like all the other accoutrement.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
Wild to me.
I mean, and it's a shame, but like also there's so many people in so little time for it.
Oh, yeah.
And these theaters have to rent out studios to do this. That costs how much a day? And they have to do it for so many days, and they're required to do it in X, Y, and Z places.
Yeah.
So like there's just so many pieces in this puzzle that it's like, I for one, don't know how to fix it, but
that's not my job.
That is not my job.
I just bring light to text and do great numbers.
I bring light to text. Wow. I rip it right off that page and
yeah.
bring it to
I was like, that's what I do every time I do my Ariana Grande mix. You know?
I love it. Yes. Those lyrics.
Those lyrics.
They've never known anything until they knew you.
Yeah. Because I Knew You, Wicked for Good, coming out in November.
Oh my God, I can't wait.
When are they dropping the goddamn teaser?
I don't know. It's got to be soon.
It has to be soon, right?
Yeah.
Like I need it like I need water.
Yeah. And like there's been like images of costumes going around where
the
I'm
blue.
like,
did you see the blue?
well, I'm like, A, is it real? But
yes,
also
the blue that Ariana's in,
thank God.
that's the dress.
Gorgeous. Gorgeous.
I know, it's incredible.
Yeah. So thank God we have that to look forward to.
Thank goodness.
Thank goodness.
Oh, what a celebration we'll have today.
We will. We certainly will.
Oh, I can't. Oh, I love Wicked. And did you see the videos of the new cast from last night?
I saw the bows. That was it. But
you didn't see Defying Gravity? Oh my God. Oh my God. I bought tickets.
Okay.
She is unbelievable.
I'm sure she is.
And acting down.
I can't wait.
I'll show you when we're done recording. There are some acting choices that I was like, why has no one done this before?
Heard.
I was like, this is just
which is so nice because also like this has been done so many times by so many people. And like to still make it fresh.
Here's the thing: Wicked is the best show on Broadway.
Yeah.
We can all say it. It is.
It always will be,
and always will be, because it's the perfect blend of a great show without the spectacle, and the spectacle just makes it better.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. You nailed it right on the head.
Thank you.
Boom.
Great choreography, great script, great music.
Wow, we've talked for so long. David, is there anything else that you want to hit on? A, and B,
about life,
about drag, about theater, and B, do you have any words of wisdom for the young Davids out there?
Ooh, okay. For drag, life, theater, my email is always open if you want to give me an audition. I'll audition for anything. I'm a wonderful asset in a cast.
Hell yeah.
If you have any open slots at your bar, I have a lot of free time. If you want another bar show, I put on a great drag show.
Heck yeah.
Reese and I will eventually write this show. Who knows when it'll be, but it'll definitely happen.
Can't wait.
I'm a great time.
If you want.
Pleasure
to be around.
Pleasure to have in class.
Pleasure to have in class.
I always got that. I also in 7th grade got, David, if you stop talking for 5 minutes, maybe you'll learn something.
I'm looking back and I'm like, I don't ever think I got pleasure to have in class.
I got it every year.
You know, I did get good grades and I got works hard or whatever, but I don't ever think I got pleasure to have in class. And now that I'm thinking about it, that's fucked.
No, I know. I got okay grades, but you know, my English and history teacher is right in the palm of my hand every year.
I just wasn't as funny back then. I took things way too seriously.
I don't know if I was funny. I was just really gay.
Heard.
And I think they were like, oh, this kid will need protection in case anyone bullies him. You know?
Understood.
My advice for the little Davids of the world. Here's the thing. I'm a huge proponent of every choice I have made has led me to the moment I'm in right now. And if I'm happy in this moment, then I wouldn't change anything.
Amazing.
And I am happy in this moment. So I would say, little David, to me personally, do exactly as you're doing. To the people who are like me, keep doing what you're doing. You will absolutely find it. I'm sure you will. If you are like me and we have the same brain, and that's why I'm talking to you, keep at it. And if you have the itch to do drag, fucking do it. I was like, if you found it sooner, you would be prettier a lot sooner than you were.
Hell yeah. I love it.
And take a sewing class.
Oh, yes. Do that. Everyone take a sewing class.
Yeah, it's good to know how to hem a garment.
It's good to know how to hem pants because let me tell you, that's a favorite side gig of mine.
Do you have a sewing machine or just you hand stitch? You have a sewing machine?
Yeah. Part of my theatrical studies where I studied costume design as well.
Love.
Yeah. So that was how I was working immediately after graduation, was in costume shops.
Love. I hate sewing, but I can make me and bralette and circle skirt.
You know what? I'm not nearly as well faceted at like actual garment creation as I would have liked to be, but like I was just doing so much when I was in school that like it really, by the end I was like, I think I know that like my heart really lies in performance, and that like while this is cool and it is a nice skill I have to do, it's just not what I'm gonna do forever.
I kind of feel the same way. Like everyone's like, all drag queens should learn how to sew. I'm like, that's not for me though. I didn't do drag so I could sew. I did drag so I could figure out what I want to wear and pay people to sew it.
I will happily listen. Don't get me wrong. I will happily hem your pants. I will happily take in your dress or whatever. But in terms of like what I want to devote more of my time to, it comes to performance.
Yeah.
David, do you have anything coming up that you would like to plug?
Oh, yeah. The first and third Tuesday of every month, I have the Glam Award winning and the Glam Award losing show, The Simple Life, at Verse Bar on 49th and 9th in Hell's Kitchen with me and my iconic co-host, Reese Havoc. It is the funniest show on Broadway. We are, I think we're up for the Tony this year.
Whoa.
We don't know. I know. Crazy.
Stay tuned.
We have a really great time. I obviously don't. I'm going to toot my own horn, but like it's a fucking great drag show.
Amazing.
You can find all my gigs on my socials that are coming up, which I'll elaborate on in a second. And then other than my show with Reese, that's the first and third Tuesday of every month at First Bar. Again, Simple Life, first and third Tuesday, except for this month. We're not having one on the third Tuesday. We're back April 2nd, and we're twice a month.
Hell yeah. Folks, get out there, get in drag, do your thing, chase your dreams. We're rooting for you. We are your biggest supporters, and you can be our biggest supporters by finding us on Patreon.
Ooh.
Wow. Folks, that is patreon.com/beatoBroadway. Just your general disclaimer, that is just for fun, silly bonus content, little looks into our lives, the things that we cut out of the episodes, that kind of stuff. We are not gatekeeping any vital information or lessons on there. That is all free here in these episodes. But yeah, come check us out over there. It helps us keep the pod going, helps me deliver the best quality episodes that I can to you as frequently as possible. So I would really love to see y'all over there. And our Principal Tier Patreon members get to choose the shows that Danny and I talk about every week on In the Spotlight. So get over there. Let us know what you want to hear us talk about, all that jazz. I just did a huge upload of a bunch of new bonus contents from a lot of our past guests. So come check those out. A lot of fun stories. And yeah, check us out over there. As always, you can find us on most social media platforms at BA2Broadway. David, where can folks find you if you want to be found?
I would love to be found. You can follow me on Instagram at Hanukah Lewinsky. That's Hanukah Lewinsky, spelled like it is in the dictionary. You can find me on Twitter because I will not say the new name of the platform.
Of course.
I would never. And that's going to be Hanukah Lewinsky because Hanukah Lewinsky was taken, spelled the same way with no Y at the end. Venmo, Cash App, TikTok, all of them, literally everything is Hanukah Lewinsky. I'm the only human Hanukah who spells my name that way. If you follow me on there, I post, performance videos and pictures of me in drag and all that good stuff. But that's where I post like all the gigs I'm doing. So if you want to come see me, go there. I post it on my story. I post it on my highlights reel. I post it on my Linktree. If you want to come see me in a show and you heard me on this, tell me and I'll buy you a shot.
Whoa, that is a tall ask, but
I get the shots for free, so it's really not that big of a deal.
I'll cut that part
but
out.
Please, I'll get you a free shot, free for me and free for you.
Wow, I love that.
And maybe a kiss if you're lucky.
Whoa. David, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. This is a joy.
Of course. You are welcome back anytime.
Don't tell me with a good time because I'll come knocking.
Okay. And until next time, folks, bye. From BA to Broadway is created, produced, and edited by Brennan Stefanik, music by Dylan Kaufman, and cover art by Jordan Vongsithi.